Today on Sports Central, we're beginning a college football game preview and prediction on the game of the week coming up in the Big 12 in Week 12 of this 2020 season. And that's going to be between the Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Oklahoma Sooners. Both these teams, of course, heading into this matchup are looking pretty good, especially Oklahoma, who's back on the rise after their 1-2 start. Looks like Oklahoma's back, and they're looking really good, especially, Spencer Rattler in that offense right now has definitely clicked, I think, over the past couple of games. And Oklahoma is definitely looking like a major threat in the Big 12 once again. Meanwhile, you got Oklahoma State on the other side, still trying to recover from their loss a couple of weeks ago to Texas, but still Oklahoma State is looking like a national contender, and they can keep it going with a win against Oklahoma here this weekend. So it's going to be a huge game for both these teams, especially, if the winner of this game is going to have a big chance of going on to the Big 12 championship. So it's going to be a very important game for both these teams moving forward. We're going to be going over a full game preview and prediction on this one here today, starting out with your team trends. Of course, Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago beat Kansas State 20-18. That was their last game. Of course, they did not play last week. Both these teams actually did not play last week. They both had byes. But Oklahoma beat Kansas 62-9 back a couple weeks ago. And Oklahoma's been looking very, very good over the past couple of weeks, or the past couple of games. If you look at Oklahoma on their side, they've scored 62 points in 2 straight games. I understand that's to Texas Tech and Kansas, but 62 points, being able to put that amount of points up within a 2-game span is very impressive for any team for that matter. But the winning streaks for both these teams, Oklahoma State's currently ranked 14th in the nation. They're 5-1. Then Oklahoma's ranked 18th at 5-2. Oklahoma's got a 4-game winning streak, so they've got a ton of momentum heading into this matchup. Then Oklahoma State has got a 1-game winning streak. Of course, they lost their first game of the season to Texas back on October 31st. So Oklahoma State does have a loss right now, but Oklahoma on the other side is looking very good. I understand they're a 2-loss team. The thing is, though, about Oklahoma is that they're definitely gaining momentum back, and they've won 4 straight good games. So watch out for the Sooners moving forward. This game's going to be on Saturday, November 21st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern in Norman, so Oklahoma will be your home team here. Spread currently says Oklahoma by 9.5. ESPN FPI has got Oklahoma 74%, and the Vegas prediction also has Oklahoma 32-28. So this is kind of one of the rare circumstances where the lower-ranked team is actually the favorite. And it's kind of crazy because all 3 of our sources here are going with Oklahoma. And of course, Oklahoma is definitely looking like a better team right now, but a 9.5-point spread especially was a little bit surprising at first, but Oklahoma definitely, I think, has got more momentum heading into this matchup. But Oklahoma State has definitely been playing all around better if you're looking at the entire season. But I tell you what, Oklahoma is definitely looking like the better team right now, considering how much momentum that they have heading into this matchup. Here's your stat comparison for this game, though. Oklahoma's got 28 points per game, 17 points allowed. On average, they got 20 pass yards a game, 190 rush yards. And then for yards allowed, they got 169 passing and then 142 rushing. For Oklahoma, they got 46 points per game, 24 points allowed. They got 350 pass yards a game, 165 rush yards. And then for yards allowed, they got 239 passing and then 98 rushing. So both of these teams all around are looking pretty good. But I'd honestly say that Oklahoma is better in this stat comparison. If you look at the defensive stats, Oklahoma State is a little bit better, I think. But for Oklahoma, their offense has been putting up 350 pass yards a game. Spencer Rattler has done very well over the past couple of weeks. If you look at how he's been playing, he's already got 2,000 yards on the season through 7 games. He's got 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he's got a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which really is not that bad. Spencer Sanders on the other side, he's been playing halfway decent, 760 yards of passing with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So, Spencer Sanders doesn't have as good of a touchdown to interception ratio, but all around he's been playing really good for this team, especially in the rushing area. But yeah, both of these teams moving forward, I think, are very talented. There's no doubt about that. And that's why this is such an intriguing matchup here between both of these teams because of how talented they are. But here's your previous 5 games for both these teams. Oklahoma State, of course, beat Kansas State 20-18 back on the 7th of November. They did lose to Texas in overtime. 34-41 was the final score there. That was a brutal loss for Oklahoma State. If they won that matchup there, I think Oklahoma State would possibly be a top 5 team in the nation right now. It was just that tough. It was a 1-touchdown game against Texas that they lost to, and that's been really kind of haunting them since. But yeah, of course, they also beat Iowa State. They were ranked 17th at the time, 24-21. Good win there. They blew out Kansas 47-7. Kansas has been absolutely horrible this season. If you look at the combined scores for both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State against Kansas, Kansas isn't the topic here, but yeah, it's 109-16 right now is the total margin between wins for both these teams. But nonetheless, they also beat West Virginia 27-13 back on September 26th. For Oklahoma, they beat Kansas 62-9. They beat Texas Tech 62-28. blew out TCU 33-14, and also beat Texas in 4 overtimes. 53-45 was the final score there, and Texas was ranked 22nd in the nation at that time. So that was a big win for Oklahoma, and that's really the game that I think turned around the season for Oklahoma. Of course, they did lose to Iowa State back on October 3rd, 30-37, and that was back when this offense just looked terrible. They were not clicking at all, and of course it makes sense because Oklahoma lost a ton of offensive talent after the 2019 season. But now, now that they've got some experience with each other, this Oklahoma team is scary moving forward. Some key points for this one: Oklahoma is back on the rise, no doubt about that. Oklahoma State is probably your current favorite in the Big 12. If you look at the standings right now in the Big 12, you've got Oklahoma State right at the top there. And you do have Iowa State at number 1 right now. They're actually number 1 in the conference. However, they've played one more game than Oklahoma State has. But all around, if you look at the percentages of the overall records, Oklahoma State does have the best record in the conference at 5-1. But Oklahoma right now still's got some ground to make up. Of course, they're 4th overall right now in the conference. They're tied with Texas for that 4th spot. But still, I think Oklahoma's got a good chance. If they can keep winning their games, and if they can build some momentum here against Oklahoma State, there is a chance that we do see the Sooners back in the Big 12 championship. They're on the outside looking in, but I really like Oklahoma's chances, especially considering how well they've played in the past few games. But yeah, why this game is important in the long run, both these teams obviously are big contenders right now in the Big 12. There's no doubt about that, and especially, Oklahoma State, they're still a contender for the college football playoff. I think for Oklahoma, they're pretty much eliminated by now for the college football playoff because I don't see a 2-win or 2-loss team making it into the playoff this season. But Oklahoma State, they're still in contention for it. If they can make it to the Big 12 championship and win it, there is a chance that we do see Oklahoma State still in the playoffs. So for them, they still have a college football playoff appearance on the line if you're the Cowboys here. But for Oklahoma, you're just winning here to get a big rivalry win and also for the Big 12 championship. There is still a chance that we see the Sooners win another Big 12 championship. And once again, I don't expect them to even have a chance at the college football playoff, but you can make a pretty good bowl game if you win the conference. So Oklahoma is definitely playing for that as well. Both these teams are pretty evenly matched, I would say, too. That's why it's also going to be such an intriguing matchup. And here's my prediction for this one. I think we see Oklahoma get the win over Oklahoma State here. And trust me when I say this was a tough decision and a very tough prediction, but I've got the Sooners getting the win here. I just like Oklahoma right now. Spencer Rattler and this offense has looked very good over the past few weeks, and I definitely think Oklahoma is back on the rise. They're looking very good right now. They've got a ton of momentum, and honestly, that's going to come at a huge advantage against Oklahoma State here on Saturday. I think it's going to be very close throughout, though. I think Oklahoma State's definitely going to keep this game close for a good chunk of it. I think that we're going to see a back and forth game between both these teams, and it's going to look like a shootout, but the Sooners are going to get the win here in the end. 38-31 will be your final score. Halftime, it's going to be 24-17 Oklahoma as well. So, but once again, I could easily see this game going the other way. It would not surprise me a single bit if you told me Oklahoma State was going to win. The Cowboys are very talented as well. Don't get me wrong. I just think Oklahoma right now is playing better. They've improved a ton. They're a totally different team if you look at the beginning of the season to the end of it. So I think Oklahoma's improved a ton. Can't forget about that. But yeah, your probability 60% towards Oklahoma, so I'm not fully certain that the Sooners will win here, but I do think I'm going to predict Oklahoma in the end because I think, once again, Spencer Rattler and this offense is looking very good right now moving forward, so watch out for them. But yeah, that being said, that was my prediction on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game. If you enjoyed this preview, slap a like on it, subscribe as well if you're not already yet. It really helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate that. But as always, thanks again for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you all in the next one.